Scorchers.
Right, AT, I guess this is a pretty familiar feeling for you and the squad. Looking for a fifth title.
Yeah, I guess it's exciting that we're able to be here and preparing to play in another Big Bash final from probably the morning we wake up, having won last year's final, where probably, as we do in elite sport, you set your sights to what's next. And for us, this has been BBL 12 and this campaign. So a lot of work's gone in behind the scenes to prepare us for this moment. And, I think that's a nice word. I think we feel prepared. I think that a lot of all the work that we've done pre-season throughout the campaign has led us to this moment. We feel like we've earned the right to be here, to be able to play here in Perth in front of our friends and family, and we look forward to a great contest tomorrow.
Winning last year's time away without only playing one game at home, is there an extra sort of fire to repeat the dose here for the Scorchers today?
Yeah, I guess more than anything, playing so many games away from home filled us with a lot of confidence that our game travels well. I think there'd been occasions before that in previous years where we knew that our brand of cricket here in Perth was successful and was winning us a lot of games in cricket. Were we able to translate that to the East Coast? There was probably a few more question marks over that, but being forced out of our comfort zone almost to play our home games on the East Coast last year, I think that just gave our squad a lot of confidence in our brand of cricket both here and away. But that being said, I think like every other team, we feel most confident in our home conditions, and to be able to have played the brand of cricket and to be able to have strung together enough games to earn the right to play in another home final, I think it's a really satisfying feeling, and we'll certainly take the confidence of an amazing home crowd with us tomorrow.
The big selection whether it's Hasigui or Kelly, what can you tell us in that front?
Yeah, I can tell you it's a really difficult decision. I think that often we've had some long selection meetings throughout this campaign. We've had a lot of guys who probably haven't had the opportunity that they deserve, or guys who we know are good enough at this level, but we just haven't been able to fit into our squad of 11 players. So I think we've spoken certainly in-house about how important the depth of our squad is going to be, how it's going to take a squad mentality to get to this point. I know from my experience, every iteration of the Big Bash campaign, we've delved well beyond 11 players that we've used for round one, and this year's been no different. We've had guys coming in and out through international selection, through injury, and I think that the guys that we've been able to rely on, who have come from outside the original 11, done a great job. And every selection meeting we've had some tough calls, and this one's going to be no different.
So, who gets a nod for tomorrow?
Good question, not sure yet.
Is Pete a key example of what you're talking about, being able to play on the East Coast as well? We've seen him play 6 of 7 away games and then only play 4 games here. Is that sort of an example of that?
Yeah, I think every team tends to bowl more overs of spin the further east we go. The wickets tend to be a bit lower and slower, take more spin. That being said, we feel like we've had a lot of different options to combat that. We've got a lot of seamers who bowl well, taking pace off the ball. We've seen young Cooper Connolly get some opportunities, and for him to get picked in a semi-final, last game, adds another string. We've got another spin option. I've been available. Ash Agar, we know how good he is, and Hats is the other spin option. So we know that for when we travel and we want to play a different style of game, we've had lots of options. That being said, more goes into it than just the conditions. We weigh up the opposition, where we talk and spend a lot of time planning for matchups, and every team's really different in that respect. So we haven't had our selection meetings yet. We haven't had our planning meetings yet. We only found out late last night who we're going to be matching up against tomorrow. So we'll spend time training today, planning, preparing, and I'm sure we will come to a consensus.
What are your thoughts on the Heat and their remarkable finals run the past week?
Oh, anyone who gets to the final deserves to be playing in a final. There's no two ways about it. There's no consistent luck in this competition. You've got to earn the right to play big games, and they've done that. They've won 3 finals on the bounce, which is an amazing feat in itself. We know that in particularly T20 cricket, momentum can be such an advantage, and I'm sure in their dressing room they'll feel like they're playing good cricket at the moment. That being said, it's going to be an exciting contest. We feel in the same boat. We feel like we've been playing good cricket at the moment as well, and that's what you want. You want two confident teams walking out to play in a final, and I think you want to see the best team win. So we'll find out later tomorrow.
Would this be the sweetest title of the lot, given your injuries in the lead up to the tournament, and obviously you get to play in front of a packed house at Optus Stadium?
It's really difficult to put that label on it. Every campaign that I've been a part of has had different challenges. We expect challenges. We expect things to not go smoothly. We've had so many ups and downs, but I think more or less a lot of the systems we've put in place have allowed us to compensate for a fast-moving environment, and we just feel at the end of the day really privileged and excited to be playing in another Big Bash final. Like I said, we're feeling confident. We know we've been playing good cricket. We've got a lot of confidence in our game plan, particularly here at home, and we know that we're going to be amazingly well supported tomorrow.
How much can you take away from last night? You guys have obviously played the SCG this season. It's a completely different surface to what you're going to find here tomorrow.
Yeah, it's almost a different sport. I vividly remember walking off the ground after having lost the Big Bash 10 final against the Sixers, and our planning, whilst we have a lot of respect for all of the teams in this competition, the planning was how we're going to beat the Sixers in Sydney, and we had to think long and hard about that. And fortunately, on the back of having lost that final, we made some changes, and we felt like we adapted better. Our game improved, and that was probably the improvement in our squad's game, being able to play in the East Coast. We know how tough they are to beat over there, so for the Heat to have gone and done that, it's an amazing achievement in itself. But that being said, you're right, it's a really different conditions here. Most teams know that. Everyone's been able to play here this year. Everyone knows that the conditions are different, but if we were going to play a team that's home grounds are, most similar to the conditions that we play here, it's probably the Heat. Gabbers, pretty similar, similar-ish dimensions at times, and some good pace and bounce in that wicket as well. So I think it's going to be a really exciting matchup. Two confident teams playing in familiar conditions. Yeah.
Ashton, did you deserve to be in the BBL's team at the tournament?
Not my job to pick those teams.
Missing out any motivation for you?
No, we don't need any more motivation than lifting this trophy. We've had our eyes set on it since we had to hand it back a few days after winning it last year, and we know how special that feeling is. If anything, having won it already, and the elation that comes with winning a title, I think that that's motivation enough to try and replicate the experience. And we've had some guys who have been a part of many finals. We've had some guys who haven't played in finals, and it's a really unique experience for everyone. And hopefully we can. Someone's getting fired. All good. What was the question?
Missing out on the BBL team or the tournament, any motivation for you personally?
Yeah, I don't think we need any more motivation than this trophy right here. Having been a part of a champion-winning side last year, the feelings and emotions, the memories, the experiences that come with that, I think that's motivation enough for everyone who was a part of that dressing room. That being said, we've got some new guys in our squad this year, and for a long time we've had our eyes set on this trophy, and that's the number one goal for anyone, I imagine, playing in this competition, but particularly within our dressing room. We're here to win trophies. We make no qualms about that. We make no apologies about trying to be the best team in this competition, and we've given ourselves a great opportunity to be the best team in this competition tomorrow.
You've touched on already the crowd, the last few tickets selling this morning, looking at potentially breaking the record at Optus Stadium for yourselves. How big is that to potentially get over 53,000 people stacked in here tomorrow?
Yeah, no, we just feel so privileged that we're able to give back to the amazing fans that we have in Perth. We know that for a few years They've sort of had that carpet of professional sport ripped out from underneath them. It's been difficult for our diehard fans to come and watch cricket live, but in particular the Big Bash. And we feel like we've been playing an exciting brand of cricket. We feel like the product is something that the fans want to come and see, and we've just felt so well supported through other avenues, whether it be on social media or walking past fans in the street. We know that the support's been there, but for us to be able to earn the right to host a home final now and reward the fans who have given us so much of their love and support over a number of years, to be able to pay that back and hopefully put on a show for them tomorrow night. We know it's going to be an amazing atmosphere. We're so fortunate we're playing in the best stadium in the country in front of the best fans in the country. We couldn't ask for anything more, and now it's up to us to play the brand of cricket that we've prided ourselves on and the brand of cricket that's got us to this point.
Spencer Johnson's had a bit of a breakout season. What are your impressions of him, and what are you expecting from him out there this weekend?
He looks a nice bowler. He's bowling good pace, back of a length. That being said, we come up against a lot of nice bowlers. I think the Big Bash competition is going from strength to strength, and some of the talent that's been on show from every team, it's been world class, and we know that every side we're coming up against has world class players. I stood here last week and answered questions about Steve Smith, who's probably for the 2 weeks before that been the best player in the world. And every time we come up and play big games, we know that we're going to be playing against the best players, on the biggest stage, and we want to test ourselves against the best team that's out there, and I think that's been the Brisbane Heat. They've showed that in big games, in pressure situations, in finals, they've been able to get the job done, and at the end of the day, that's what makes you the best team. So, we feel like they've earned the right to be here. We know that they're going to come in with a lot of confidence. We know that they've got some quality individuals, and I think it's going to be an exciting contest.
Ash, does it feel different being overwhelming favourites, and how do you deal with that?
Well, there's not a banner up in our change room that has the odds for the game. We don't spend a lot of time thinking about it, but to be honest, we've got so much confidence in our own squad that probably in-house we feel like we've been favourites for every game. And I think if you don't feel that way in this competition, you're probably wasting your time. I think you've got to have self-belief as individuals, but also as a collective, as a group. And, I think we've earned that self-belief over a number of years now. We've played some really good cricket. We've played particularly good cricket here in Perth. And like I said, I feel like we've earned the right to be here, and we're going to use that confidence that we have in the group to hopefully put forward a great performance tomorrow night.
What do you say to players like Cooper, who are potentially going to play in front of the biggest crowd they've ever played in the biggest game of their careers at such a young age?
We feel like for everyone, the planning started not today, not last week, not at the start of this tournament. The planning has started 20 years ago when Cooper first, I'll rephrase that, 19 years ago when Cooper probably started walking. And preparation, I say it to kids when we go to schools and we talk about playing professional sport. I vividly remember a story when I was 10 years old going to the Wacker and watching Brett Lee bowl in a test match, and I remember thinking, sitting side on as you do on the grass banks, like, this is too quick. I physically couldn't see the ball, and you think, well, I'm never going to be good enough to face bowling that fast. But it doesn't happen overnight. It's a really slow process, and for someone like Cooper, he's been training. He didn't know it at the time, but his whole life has been training and preparing him for this moment. So I don't actually need to say much to him pre-game. Like, his last 15 years of picking up a cricket bat, playing with balls, has prepared him for this moment. And one of the other really unique things about professional sport is if you have made it to this level, you clearly care about your art, and every time you perform on the field, whether that be in school cricket or club cricket or Big Bash domestic cricket or international cricket, you care about your performance and you're trying equally as hard. And so often the pressure that you feel in games like a Big Bash final or international cricket, it's the same pressure that you feel as a 12-year-old kid playing at recess time in your schoolyard. So Cooper has felt pressure before. He's felt the same feelings that he's going to feel tomorrow as he runs out to play in a Big Bash final in front of 50,000 people. And I don't need to say a lot to him. His skills have prepared him for this moment, and we only pick guys in our playing 11 who we think are ready for the moment, and Cooper's definitely ready.
AT, can I ask one unrelated to the Big Bash? Adelaide's made a pitch for the New Year's test from Sydney. Do you think that's something that Cricket Australia should look at?
Wrong person to ask.
Fair enough.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.